What's going on, guys? So today on this SHOKY Transformers review, taking a look at something else from the Studio Series Movie 86 line, and it is the Autobot Hot Rod. Now I'm filming in 24 frames per second just to see how it looks. If it sucks, I'll go back to the 60. It is what it is. I just wanted to change things up, and I realized that, hey, there was a new setting, and hopefully my audio is fixed. If you guys have noticed in some of the recent reviews, my audio gets a little bit weird. I don't know if it's a hardware problem when I drop my phone, or there was a digital issue within the software, because it seemed like after an update, maybe it fixed itself. But that's not here nor there. Let's look at the Hot Rod box. So right here on the front, we got the 86 version of the Hot Rod there. I have the background already removed, so it is what it is. Transformers, the movie, ages 8 plus. Hey, I'm right in the middle of that. Hasbro, big old Transformers, Generation, Takara Tomy. And come around here. Very nice artwork of the Hot Rod. Normally you would have a big 86 right there, but that's actually on the side of the diorama thing. And we come to the back, you got big screen inspired. Yep. And you got Depths of Unicron. That's the background. And you got all the stuff. Changes in 29 steps. Hot Rod lights the darkest hour. Sure he does. Backdrop is included. Yeah, I know. You told me that like 4 times, box. And come over here, and it looks really good. And he is number 4 in the line. So I think realistically, I'm just missing Blur. So I'm really on the idea that I need to pick up Blur. He's still available at the Walmart that I've picked up most of these from. And I did find this guy. It's kind of funny. So I was in there looking for other things. It looked like nothing new had dropped at all. And then I just happened to look up, and there on the top shelf was Hot Rod, laying down sideways, along with Scourge, but I didn't really want Scourge, so I grabbed this one. And I left the other one behind. There was another Hot Rod, and I was trying to tempt good old Rodimus to get one as well, because Hot Rod is his favorite character, but it is what it is. I do have another one of these coming up very soon on a very large silver T-Rex shaped bot. Yes. And of course, guys, if you are on the Patreon, you've already seen the out the box reviews and reactions to these where I first get them out. That's why there's nothing going on there. And you get to watch me fiddle with it, first go, try to get it transformed. If you are interested in any of that, by all means, down below. I have a very basic option on Patreon for just $1 a month, and you don't really get to see that much. $5 a month, you get to see a whole lot more. And I'm about to open up another one that have to deal with just my third YouTube channel. It doesn't have to make sense. But that's enough of the plugs. You guys want to see cool robots, right? Right. Let's go. Alright, guys. So here we have Hot Rod in his car mode, though because of the way I filmed this, I did not get the Taro video done first. But you guys should still check it out if you want to see how to get him back into car mode. It will be linked up there and in the end screen. It is fine. And what we have here is a very nice rendition of classic Hot Rod. Not classics Hot Rod, but classic Hot Rod. Does look good. His wheels are a little crap, if I'm honest. Like, that just meh. Silver here on the pipes. That is actually painted, so that's good. Back wheel is lacking silver on the wheel, so that sucks. Come underneath, and you basically have a Hot Rod kind of folded up underneath the car. It is what it is. No visible head syndrome, not really, even though he's right through the blue translucent windshield. Now all of this is painted and or tampoed, so that's something cool. Big yellow wing that feels a little flimsy, if I'm honest. And you have some very ugly exposed knee joints. This is a problem I particularly have with this thing. But let's see here. He does, I would say he rolls, but he slides. Slides really good. Back wheels seem to be doing something. Front wheel, this front wheel really does kind of suck, if I'm honest. But I don't think he's really high centering, but his chest here might rub if you're not too careful. Now he's considered a Voyager class on the box. However, I've discovered Voyager class is no longer a size. It is a how much stuff comes in the box. Sorry, that's what I meant to point out. Voyager class. So I forgot to point that out on the box. But you get someone like Cup and Jazz and Blur. They're all deluxes. And they're the same size as Hot Rod. I don't have them, unfortunately, in vehicle mode, so it is what it is. We'll see them in bot mode. But for comparison to other things, as we've been doing with the series, there it is next to a previous deluxe. Now that's the case of something that's definitely a Legends, Comes with extra stuff, and they scale it to be a deluxe in name only. That's what we're going to start calling these. It's going to come with an INO asterisk. And then here we go next to deluxe class wheeljack. Wow. And then next to a Voyager class, hook, hoist. Wow, it's been a minute, guys. So there is in different car modes and whatnot. And if you're interested, there he is next to the Wally Meister. Yep, looks pretty good there. So a little short, but he is what he is. And actually, what's interesting, in car mode, you can use virtually all of his accessories. I think there's only 2 you cannot use. So he does come with these cool clear blue effect parts. They're like flame smoke energy stuff. And you can, in fact, plug it in back here on his exhaust pipes. Little turbo boosty stuff happening. This is actually a neat addition. Now, mind you, he's going to be able to plug those onto his forearm pipes as well, but it's pretty neat that you can do that here. Now, he does also come with all of his weapons for being a robot, and as with most of these things, you can in fact use them in his car mode. Now, I have them assembled like this, his pizza cutter and his 2 guns, because you have a couple tabs up here that you can tab in like that, which is meh. I'm using the pizza cutter to hold the guns in position. And then if you want to, you can also plug them in up here on the engine block and be very much like his old, not weapon, is it Weapons Master? Something like that, where he's got the guns sticking on the front. But either way, that's a thing that they almost always do. Now, one thing that does suck is that these guns, while painted, they can't combine to be a long rifle or sniper rifle. And also the pizza cutter, you can't do anything else with in car mode, but you can utilize it with that. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Now, the other 2 accessories with the Matrix and the Matrix effect parts obviously have no bearing on this. In fact, other than being able to hold the Matrix, as we will see, spoilers, it has no other playability with good old Hot Rod here. So let's go ahead and get him transformed up. Play with the lights here just a little bit. Okay, so I don't have a spudger. Crap. Okay, so there's a couple of interesting things that happen with this Hot Rod. He has a very fine transformation, but the problem I have is back here with this section. So his legs tab into this area right here. So there's 2 good tabs facing outward that tab into here, and then a couple spots here that tab in on the front of the leg. And I have yet to find a very good way to do this without having stress marks. So there's already a good stress mark happening right there. You can see it. So I don't know 100% how you're supposed to. You can't just pull this up because it is tabbed into there. So at some point, I guess you have to pull out and down, like this way, and hope to rotate, I guess, like that. I mean, it went, but that was scary. So let's see here. Maybe it'll involve more of getting the arm out of the way first, because that's bound up quite a bit. So let's untab the arms here. Yeah, we're sort of figuring this out as we go. So untab the arm there. Unpeg this from that. Maybe that will make it much easier on this. So you want to pull out and try not to break things on the other side. Down and out, kind of like that, and get it to rotate. Getting it to rotate out is the hard part. There we go. Okay, so that to me is the hardest part of this transformation. I think it's because of these extra tabs right here. Just the ones from the side, you'd be able to just pull it sideways and you'd be golden, essentially. So now that's free, you can raise up that whole back section there, and now we have access to the legs And once we got those kind of finagled free, you want to flip this up like that and get a little bit of clearance and open it up. This is one of the harder parts of this, if I'm honest. There we go. So, and then rotate the knee down on that hinge, and very much like his previous forms, you flip the foot out. Go ahead and utilize this one hinge, get this untabbed, turn the entire wheel and exhaust pipe section in till it tabs in, then close it back up like so, and then we'll tab in right there. And, well, in theory it's supposed to tab in right there, but this one doesn't like to, for reasons. I have no idea why. Okay, so let's see if we can get it to do that on the other side. Flip that up. Kind of combiner wars the legs a little bit. Flip the wheel in all the way. Get the exhaust pipe. Flip the foot down. Rotate in. Tab. And then once again, that one doesn't want to tab in. Okay, so legs are done. And we want to rotate at the waist. Like so. And you have what is basically hot rod right there. It's good to go. Yeah, here we go. And of course, you guys probably noticed by now, I don't have any other hot rods to compare them to. All of mine are gone. I parted ways with the old ones a while back. Okay, so the arms, you need to come over here and sort of free them. There's a lot of tolerance issues here, and it's really strange. Normally, tolerance is not the problem. So you want to use this, unpeg this from here, which will free up this section. Go ahead and flip these in so that you can free up your arms, because these just sort of roughly tab in there. I say roughly because it's kind of a, they probably tab in there. And actually, let's see, can we, go ahead and flip this guy around, bring him up here in a second. And then you can utilize all of this section, flip this up. He's trying to, for clearance. There we go. Grab the head, flip it up on these double hinges. Turn this around. I said double hinges, actually single. Okay, so I always forget. So the faux chest is there. This is good here. We want to turn the arms 180 degrees, like so, and then all of that. Okay, couldn't remember which part needed to rotate. Seriously, like a lot of stuff spins and rotates on its own, so it gets a little weird. In fact, now that I'm looking at it, I forgot that the entire thing needs to rotate here, like so. And then I believe you want to flip this guy under. There we go. So now all the front car part is all now up under there. And then tuck all this back in, like so. And close up the body, like so. Maybe some tabs. Go ahead and utilize your elbows. Flip up. This is an interesting way to do the hands. So you flip this and flip around, and then flip back, and then we'll go into that little divot. So the hands themselves are not exactly hidden away. And flip this around and into the divot. And last but not least, we'll come over here, fold this up, and you got a tab that will go in right there. And I believe that is it. And we have us a new hot rod. And I can easily say this is the best hot rod that I have looked at. The previous versions, whether it was Combiner Wars or Power of the Primes, were not good, and they really didn't look like hot rod. Especially Combiner Wars version was crap. The actual hot rod, not the Rodimus Prime version from Prime Wars, basically, was okay. but this is significantly better. The only thing I wish that we could do is adjust this section here with the thing. Just kind of, I wish I could drop it down just a hair, but as far as I know, that doesn't move. It's got tabs and stuff, but as far as I can tell, it doesn't move, it doesn't rotate, it doesn't do anything. It just chills there. But that's my only criticism, is I wish this came down a little bit lower. So you get all the same details. You don't have to have like a new car front to become this. It actually just tucks away. And actually having a real / faux chest is pretty cool. Details are there, painted on for like the headlights, painted here for the arm sections. And other than like a couple fitment problems with like this, like right here, it holds together pretty good, and he stands up fairly nice, despite the fact this particular knee is significantly loose. Like, it's not floppy, but it's very loose compared to this one. And considering it's like a double jointed knee for transformation, that can get very problematic over time. But he looks good. I mean, even the head sculpt looks really good. I mean, let's see here. Let's see if I can bring a little more light to his dark hour, or at least to my dark set. But yeah, that is a good looking hot rod. And of course, he can utilize his weapons. So you got his pistols. Oh, by the way, I didn't go over articulation, but it's okay. We'll go ahead and give him his pistols. And I really wish there was a way they could go together to make the bigger gun, which I think virtually every version can do. But it's nice to get both of his pistols. They do work. And these tabs here, I'm not entirely certain what they do, but they're getting worn for some reason. I don't know what plugged into them, because there's a really bad stress crack right there on that one. And if one is so inclined, you can flip open his arm. Oh, I guess if you do the whole thing, I forgot about that. You can flip this around, close it back up, and now you got a peg hand on which the pizza cutter works, which is cool. And it's fine. I mean, like, the previous ones weren't that great. If we got one, I like it better than the clear versions we get with certain other varieties. Another thing that's interesting is come to this side. Open it, there we go. Flip it around, and you get his little, I guess, weldy thingy, which is cool. Like, I mean, like, I found that by accident. I was like, hey, wait a minute. That's pretty cool. They included that. Could use a little bit of paint, though. That would be the only criticism there. Now, with his forearm thingies, you can use the effect parts, which is neat in its own self. And, of course, let's give him his hands. Give him his hands back, so we can do the main thing. The whole reason we are here. He does have the ability to open and close his hands ever so slightly, which is fine, because you need to be able to hold the matrix of leadership. Bring it to me. And it's fine. It's different than the ones we got before. Apparently, it's very similar to the one that comes with our Earthrise. Actually, this isn't Earthrise. This is Other Prime. Oh, that's right. This one doesn't have it. You have to have the Earthrise one. My bad. So I guess that means I need to get Earthrise. But there's a comparison there. So Matrix. But I could have sworn the Siege version had a Matrix, but maybe not. And I'm just stupid. But either way. So there's Matrix. It's hollow on the one side, so you could attempt to do the bloosh. A bloosh thingy might fit in there. But that's not why we're here. We want him to light our darkest hour, which, utilizing all of his crazy articulation, which we will look at after all this is done, because that's how I'm going to do it, he can hold it like so, and you can, I mean, move your joints however you need to to light the darkest hour. And it's fine. But that's not all. To help light our darkest hour, we get a lighting our darkest hour effect part, which is actually kind of cool, if I'm honest. It's softish plastic like all the other things. You got 2 tabs here. Now, you can either do it this way. I think I might have that upside down. You can either do it this way, sandwiching around the outside, like so, or you can turn it inside the gaps, which I think is really what's intended. And you can light everyone's hour that way, which is fine. Yeah, it looks perfectly fine. It's pretty cool, not gonna lie. So there's that. Now let's go over the articulation that I completely forgot about, as I got excited about all the other stuff. Head is on a ball joint. Whoop-de-doo. No big deal there. One thing I am happy on is they decided to paint his eyes, unlike Cup, where they did light piping, which makes 0 sense. Okay, shoulders. He has a hinge upward, which is fine if that's all you want to do with your life. It does rotate. His shoulder can rotate a bit, like a butterfly, but you cannot do it if there's anything remotely in the way. It almost seems like it unlocks to some degree if the arm is up or down, because like it doesn't do anything else. But you can also utilize your shoulder joint to try to make use of that. You do have a single jointed elbow with the bicep rotation included there. It doesn't go very far, not even up to 90, and I'm not pushing that. And it's pretty stiff, if I'm honest. Waist rotation, no ab crunch or anything like that. Can do perfect course line. Can't really go back that far, but who cares? Can do perfect Jean-Claude, no problem. Like I mentioned before, it's mostly a single jointed knee. You're not utilizing that other part. In fact, that's kind of tabbed in to some degree. The foot has an ankle rocker, and you can tilt it up to about there. So that's fine. And like I said, this knee is much, much looser. I did try adjusting just the screw. Made no difference, so I would need to tighten it up inside the joint itself. But I think the biggest problem I have is the limitations on the shoulders. Like, the fact that you can't really rotate until you get it to about here is pretty limiting. No pun intended. But let's go ahead and compare them to the other guys in the line that we have so far. And it is our Cup, our old man Cup, which realistically, I neglected to point out, his face sculpt is not as good as it should be. In fact, it doesn't really look like Cup. It looks more like an old Blur. And then our Jazz. So this is funny. So Jazz is a deluxe. Cup is a deluxe. Obviously, Jazz is a bit squat in comparison. And then he is considered a Voyager, though he's just barely taller and not really in any bigger size than the other guys. And of course, our Voyager Prime from Siege stands tall over all of them, as he should. And I don't have any other bots for that effect, except for Wally. But yeah, as it goes, it's a really good hot rod. It's a hot rod we have deserved for a long time. And a lot of people say this is somewhere in between the crappy versions that we've already gotten and the masterpiece. And, to some degree, I will agree to that. It's definitely better than the previous ones we've gotten. I think you'd have to go back to like the old classics version to really even give it a run for its money. By the way, it does have thigh rotation, just limited. But, I did forget one feature. I just recalled. Because I remembered the MP. So you can open up the head. And then utilizing your fingies, you can bring out his little scopy zoom-in visor. Which is a cool addition that they didn't have to include in this one. And I'm glad they did. So that actually adds to quite a bit of it. Why his knee has such a reverse bend, I have no idea. So the big complaints that I'm going to have for this, it's clearances, tolerances, especially for transforming back from car mode, especially given how all that went. This knee is particularly bad on mine, and there's definitely stress marks happening here on the arms. Whatever these things were plugged into, Oh, those plug into these tabs right here. That's right. I'll show that off when I do the Taro video, which I have not done yet because I filmed this out of order. Normally they're in bot mode and I transform them to car mode first so I can get set up for the thing. The accessories are good, but that's the only justification they have for calling him a Voyager when he's clearly a deluxe. The new Matrix is fine, except there's nowhere to put it in his bot mode. His chest doesn't open up and you can just go bloop. You know, there's no storage for it. As far as I can tell, there's no room, realistically. There might be a little bit of room right up here in his belly, like right up under here. But, like, you can't put it in his chest. You can't do anything like that. The effect part is cool, but if you're not doing anything with it, then, you know, that's the end of that. If they give us a new Galvatron, which I believe they are. I believe there's a new Galvatron coming. I know there's a new Cyclonus. It's in the Kingdom line. I'll probably pick up RC to go with this movie shelf. I do hope they give us a Prime from this. Give us a much better Studio Series G1-esque Prime versus the ones we've gotten for the Kingdom line. I'm kind of over that line as it is. Kingdom Siege, you know, Earthrise, all that kind of junk. Earthrise was a lie, let's just be honest here. And, you know, the only other thing that I don't need or care about is the backdrops. And it's so much that I don't care about it, I forgot about it until just this second. It's been a week or so since I did any reviews, guys. It looks fine. I'm saving them in all actuality because I don't know if somebody might want them down the line, like, you know, Rodimus. But it's kind of cool. If you wanted to set something up like a fake movie theater and like have these things set up like movie props or movie poster props with all the bots standing there, that would be neat. Once again, wish you could make his long gun. There's gaps underneath that almost seem like it would be a thing. Like you utilize the tabs, but you can't. Pete's cutter is fine. I don't care about it, but it is fine. But I think it's an excuse to raise the price on what is clearly just a regular deluxe figure. And that's my problem. So, but guys, that's going to be it. Make sure you go check the rest of the Transformers reviews out. Make sure you go watch the Taro video. Once again, it'll be linked up there or in the end screen. And let me know so far out of the Studio 86 stuff, what is it that you are waiting for and what is it that you like so far from the line? For me, it's mostly the accuracy, except for Cup's face, which is driving me nuts now that I'm looking at it. But I think they've gotten better on the transformations and are giving us better versions of car mode and bot mode for guys that just have not ever had it. So, next up, we've got another one, and it's a big one. I'll see you then. Remember, as always, keep on nerding.